Happy Monday to everyone. This is Rob Mazak, psychic medium. I also have a lot of other cool services. And just like on all the other podcasts that I do, I don't do anything scripted. I just like to talk into the mic, start with a topic in mind and a few ideas, and we just roll with it. And eventually we'll end up where we started. That's the idea. And I also want to ensure that you guys understand that what I'm talking about tonight and what I talk about on any of my other podcasts are not meant to speak these as truths. These are ideas. These are my experiences that I get from working with other clients through some of the services that I provide, especially in my hypnosis, which really brings forth a lot of interesting things. So, once again, it's not to convince you guys of anything, just to kind of show you some alternative ideas, different ways of looking at things, and to hopefully help get you thinking a little bit different and coming out of your normal eat, work, sleep, consume, and die kind of life. And we all have things we have to do, of course. We do have to eat. We do have to sleep, we do have to work, we do have things we have to pay for, I get it. But I believe that there is more to life than just doing that. And I think it's about really digging in to all that information that surrounds us in the ether, if you will, or outside of us in the spirit realm or wherever it's lying. Use that to help us become a much more complete human being. We are very limited if we think that it's just our conscious mind that is going to get us through this life and beyond. We have to do much more than that. The conscious mind is just a tool to program the subconscious mind, which is really what does all the work. Just to summarize before we get going, the subconscious mind is really the seat of you. It knows everything about you, past, present, future, including other lives, if you will, if you believe in that. I've seen lots of evidence in my world for that, so it's something I believe in. However that works, however that comes through, it's still a lot of quote-unquote evidence for me. But the subconscious mind is also the internet router, if you will, for us to the cosmos, to the universe, to all knowledge, to everything that you could possibly want to know. It runs through your subconscious and also is embedded and encoded within your subconscious. So your subconscious is that 95% of your mind, your brain. I would say your mind more than anything. I mean, there's a lot of ideas, a lot of levels of consciousness, but we're just breaking it down into easy pieces. Your subconscious is 95% of who you are, at least 95%. It has been programmed through your experiences of life, how you're raised, your culture, the college classes you've taken, the degrees you've done, all these different things, good and bad, that have happened to you throughout your life become part of this program, and it will play over and over again. It's almost like semi-permanently programmed, and it plays over and over, like you putting in a CD or a DVD in your player. I know I'm kind of dating myself. Putting a DVD into a player, thinking that you're going to get a different outcome, but guess what? What's programmed on that DVD is going to keep playing the same as it did every single time. And that's where we find ourselves most of the time as human beings, is running the same DVD over and over again, and putting very little effort into trying to reprogram it to our little 5% chihuahua barking conscious mind, thinking that that's all we got to do, and we wonder why nothing changes. 95% of the thoughts we had yesterday are the same ones we had a week ago, a month ago, 10 years ago. And we wonder why our life continues to be the same. And I'm guilty too. But what's cool about going through a self-discovery journey, which I've done for a lot of years, is that, now I can't say that I don't know. I do allow myself to be stupid, if you will, for a while. I recognize it's happening. And we're all human. Sometimes we like to just waddle in the junk, if you will, for a while. Once you know, and you can't, or you can no longer say you don't know. You can no longer blame other people because you know it better. Everything that ever happens to us, to individuals, is something that we create. Now granted, there are things that have happened to us in our lives that are not our fault. Absolutely. Bad things. The way we were raised, lousy parents, lousy relationships, whatever. And sure, there are somebody else's fault. But it is our fault if we continue to allow that to affect our lives. To allow those things to program our subconscious mind, and those people that have done those things to you, knowingly or unknowingly, continue to affect you and continue to bring you the outcome that they meant for you years and years and years, if not your whole life later. So it does become your fault at some point. We are grown adults. We all grow up into men and women, and it becomes our fault if we don't fix it. Yes, many things are not our fault. But let's pull up our pants and let's put on our boots and let's get busy changing things, recreating things, making a life that we want, not one that was designed by other people and is still affecting us, for such a long amount of time. And so that's kind of my segue into what I really wanted to talk about, which was meditation. Meditation is known by many different terms, many different methods, many ideas. But meditation is the way that you connect with all that information that is outside of you, that may be even buried in your subconscious mind, just waiting for you to dig in. And the thing about the subconscious mind that I didn't touch on is we don't necessarily have direct access to that. Our conscious mind, it's right there. We have access to it. We can control things. We can make decisions. We can choose right. We can choose left. We can choose this girl, that guy, whatever. But our subconscious mind is something that lies below any type of purposeful control or access. So meditation really helps us tap into that, to really find out the wonders of this world, the things that we can't learn in a book, we can't, learn in school, we can't learn as, normal, as a normal human day plays out. We have plenty of experiences, let me tell you. But the subconscious mind just kind of lies there and goes, well, let's run the program. There's no, without anything reintroducing or reprogramming, it's just going to keep doing it. So meditation can also help you affect that recording. But the real secret first through meditation is to figure out what the problem is. Once you can figure out what's going on, what you are doing that's keeping you locked in chains for the same dreary life, if you will, the same same old, just like everybody says, same shit, different day. You have to figure out what it is that's causing that. When I started on my self-discovery journey, gosh, I don't know, it must be 10 years ago now, I needed a real kick in the ass, and I got that. Probably heard that in other podcasts. However, I went after that full force. It's one of the things in life that I can say I've done all in. We've heard that term, all in. You know, most of us say we're all in, but realize if you really break it down, we're not all in. But I was all in. 9 months straight of just digging into myself, learning to meditate, hearing what I needed to hear, which was not fun. You know, and then I was able to do something about it because then I knew what was going on. And not only are we looking for self-improvement, so to speak, but the mysteries and the wonders of the universe and the cosmos and everything that is outside of our barely 1% of the experience we could actually have with what is available out there. I mean, the light spectrum that we can pick up with our eyes, for example, is less than 1% of all there is. And it's pretty doggone amazing with just that little bit of percentage. Can you imagine if we could experience the rest of it or even part of the rest of it? What kind of things we can learn, kind of things we can bring into our life to make it better and help others become better. Once again, I will get off my soapbox and let's talk a little bit about meditation. So meditation can be done so many ways. I will explain first how I developed my meditation. Nobody taught me. I didn't hire a guru or a mentor or buy a fancy program. I simply decided that I was going to just get it done. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I found a 20-minute piece of music that was unrecognizable, no tune, that my mind would latch onto and sing along with. It was kind of like some kind of space age sounding music. I think it was pineal activation, some specific hertz, if you will. I probably have it still somewhere. Yeah, I do actually. I have it on my phone. I listen to it occasionally. I think that's the name of it. But anyway, and the goal within that 20 minutes was to get to that space. We'll talk about the space in a minute. For probably a good month, I found myself just barely scraping that space, just kind of almost getting there, just kind of feeling it. And then after that first month or so, I began to get into the space within that 20 minutes. And then after a little while longer, I was in there quickly. Pretty soon I was able to, as soon as the music started, boom, 20 minutes of in the space. And let me tell you, now I don't need the music. After all these years of doing it, don't get me wrong, there's some days I just can't seem to connect. But that's not very often. Sometimes our day is just so bad that it's very difficult to connect. And I get it. Most people I suggest this to say that they've tried and they can never do it. They can't turn their mind off. Well, we'll come back around to that too. But now I find that I can meditate, quote unquote, get to that space anywhere, anytime, doing anything, and just about anything. It's very difficult to meditate when you're trying to do a math problem, and I really suck at math, but you get my point. Like tonight, I didn't put on any music. Matter of fact, I left all the lights on. It was completely bright in the room, every light I could put on. I laid on my bed, closed my eyes, and boom. And I'm going to talk about that journey a little bit here shortly. There I was, and it's like it is so amazing. And I hear so many people talk about plant medicine to get there. And I'm not saying plant medicine is the wrong answer. I can tell you it's the wrong answer for me. What really helps me solidify that I'm not going to do that is every time somebody explains to me what happens in their journeys using plant medicine, ayahuasca, and different things, is exactly like what I experience having just taken the time to learn how to meditate. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to discourage you from doing whatever. I'm just saying you can do it all naturally. It does take time. It does take time to learn. But during these meditations, I have gained a lot of really cool information, a lot of validation, learn things that are actually quote unquote truths in our world, things that there's no way I could possibly know because I've never read them, I've never been introduced to them at all. And so where does this information come from? Where am I tapping into? A lot of people have different opinions on what we are tapping into. It could simply be that we are just tapping into our higher self, our DNA, our subconscious, which is embedded with everything there is to know, basically. We might actually be reaching into the records of the universe. There's Akashic records, which people talk about. Edgar Cayce was big into those, where the records of everything that's ever happened, past, present, and even into the future, are all recorded in this ether, if you will, called the Akashic records. Some people would call it your library. Whatever, wherever you are connecting, wherever you get the information, doesn't matter as long as it's valid and it helps you grow and progress. And a lot of people, let me just kind of sidestep on this. A lot of people think that you need a lot of protection to meditate and to go outside of yourself, so to speak, because they think that some evil entity is going to pop in. Well, let me tell you, I have not had that happen ever. Other people I have heard have. But let me tell you, darkness or evil, if you will, can never really do much to you as long as you are shining your light. The light of who you are. Light can always overcome darkness. Darkness can never overcome light. Just remember that. Let's move on. And so meditation can also be done many different ways. Many people say that they can't meditate. They try to sit and quiet their mind, still their mind so that they can get to that nirvana, that space. The space where it's like you're taking all those 60,000 thoughts of your day and kind of putting them to the side. Or I should say you're not doing it. If you're doing that, then you're doing something. It's just kind of hard to do nothing if you're doing something, if you get my point. But the process kind of creates this, the way I see it, it's like almost like a tunnel where I can just kind of relax and free my mind from all the thoughts that I have every day. And I will tell you, you can't get rid of all your thoughts. That's nearly impossible. There's been quite a number of times where it felt like there was no thought at all. But at least I'm able to get it down to where there's just a minor amount of them. So if you're trying to meditate and you can't seem to quiet your mind, welcome to being normal. Also, remember that not everybody can sit cross-legged on a mountaintop smoking a peace pipe and, like a guru, and sit in silence and quiet their minds. Some people just cannot do that. It's just not going to happen. My mentor kind of helped me with this. Like I said, I didn't bring in a mentor initially, but eventually I gained one. Lovely lady. What she told me, though, was really helped me and how I help other clients, other people. Some people are kinesthetic meditators, meaning that you need to be moving, even if it's simple as crocheting, rocking in a chair, walking, exercising. Your body is moving, and it creates this wonderful space for you. Now, most of you will probably think, how could that be meditation? If you're trying to completely still your mind and not have any thoughts, and you're moving, you might get run over by a car or something if you're not thinking. Good point. So that may be more mindfulness, if you will. It clears your mind enough so that you can think and connect with what's comfortable for you. Spirit world, however you look at that. Spirit guides. I have a spirit guide that really helps me a lot, and that's a different story. So I have written 2 books actually on that they are about my meditation journeys and all the things I've learned and heard through the meditative process. And they are quite amazing. And once again, I'm not offering them as truth. To me, meditation really becomes like conscious dreaming. Because in our dreams, we all have these very strange journeys in our dreams. And nobody considers having a strange dream as you being some crazy person. So why would somebody be considered crazy when they meditate and they have very similar types of experiences? That makes no sense. What I find too is that meditation journeys or information that comes through is really designed to help you grow or bring to you your attention something you need to work on, something you need to do, some direction you need to go, something you need to change about you. And it's just been an amazing ride to learn how to do that and to actually incorporate it. Let's talk about the journey or the meditation that I had this evening. So I had a very interesting day. I haven't had a day off in a while. Really, I could have had a hard time staying awake today at work. And as soon as I got off, I didn't take my boots off, nothing. Laying in my bed in my uniform, I'm a military guy, you don't know. And I slept so hard for an hour. And I got up and, I had some dinner and I was going to go and work out again. But something told me that I just needed to take this evening and have a little peace, a little bit of quiet. Because my life has been very mentally challenging, if you will, for a while. So I decided, well, on that note, since that's what I'm hearing, let me go ahead and meditate. So still have my boots on, still have my uniform on. I just went over and laid on my bed. Like I said, all the lights on, everything. No music, nothing. I use meditation for many different things. Sometimes I go in for very specific things, trying to gain answers, direction on certain questions, things like that. Other times I put out intentions, prayers, however you want to look at that, my desires, what I would like to see happen. Visualization exercises to see if we can create what I'm desiring, which I have a lot of cool examples of that too. It does actually work. But tonight, what I did is I said, what is it that I need to see? What do I need to know? Because I couldn't really, meditating, couldn't think of anything that I really wanted to know, because it just kind of feels like the calm before the storm right now. It's just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. There's not a lot going on, but I know there's a lot going on. Like something's coming. So I found myself in this electric fog, I like to say. I say myself. So everything that I do as a psychic and a medium and everything, readings, throughout everything, it all happens in my consciousness, in my mind, in my mind's eye. It doesn't happen like seeing entities on my bed or something. Other people have those experiences, but I don't. But it doesn't discount the quality or the validity of that. So here I am, finding myself walking through this electric fog is the best way I could describe it. It was like flashing lights and just like almost like lightning in this silvery cloud. As I exited, as I was coming out the other side of this electric cloud, I found myself walking on this path with like small rocks, and I could hear the crunching underneath my feet of the rocks as I was walking along. I looked down at my feet and my clothes, and I was wearing clothes and shoes and things that it's just not normally me. Much thinner, of course. That's cool though. You know, we all want to be thinner. But I was dressed in these really nice shoes, dress shoes. It looked like a suit, like some type of a blue suit. Didn't really see any jewelry. But as I was walking down this path, I noticed that there was this structure to my right that was kind of embedded into like a mountainside or a bunch of rock. I don't know if they were mountains, but they're definitely rock structures. And it looked like, the entrance looked like a bit like a castle with a huge door. And it was like, like those old Christian symbols with the fish, kind of that middle part, with like the oval, if you will, with the points at the top and the bottom. The door had that little point at the top, flat at the bottom, or the entrance, I should say. It wasn't really a door. And on either side of that entrance was, on the left looked like emerald jewels or crystals that lined the left. And on the right was like an amethyst color crystals that lined the right side of the entrance. And then on the inside, where you have like the frame, if you will, that was all rock. This was all like stone manufactured, if you will. Somebody made this door on some way. And on the frames, on the inside of the frames on both sides, there was also mixed red and green, or amethyst and emerald stones. I got to go back and figure out what that symbology might mean. And so I was trying to figure out how I was going to get in. And this door just kind of, the entrance, it looked like an opaque door, if you will, covering. And it just, I guess it noticed I was there, and I'm personifying it, but it just kind of dissolved, and I was allowed to walk through. And as I walked through and into the inside of it, I looked back, and it closed over, but it looked on the inside as if it was solid rock. I'm like, ooh, might be stuck in here. That was kind of my first thought. But I could hear myself echoing. I looked around. It was this huge, it looked like it used to be a cave or something, but it had become a bit modernized. There was lights that were surrounding the top, and there really wasn't any like furniture or anything. It was like a really highly marbleized floor, almost as far as I could see. And I could hear this hum. And I looked over to my right, and I could see just an area that was very well lit. So I walked over there, and what I saw was this like huge, I want to say like altar, if you will, raised area where there were these huge pulsating, very large pulsating gems, I guess you call them, crystals. And they started on my left with the colors of the chakras, the 7 major chakras, and they worked their way to the right, and they are all the same colors, all pulsating. And you could see that there was, on this raised area underneath there was a way to get underneath it. And I was about to go in there, and I heard somebody speak to me from behind me. I turned around, and there was this gorgeous woman, which, doesn't hurt in meditation for us guys. And this woman introduced herself as Quantum. And right away, I don't remember what I said to her, but her comment was, even here, your thoughts are that you would just love to undress me. I'm like, well, I'm a man. I guess that's pretty normal. But she introduced herself. She says that, there's a backstory to this, but she said this is a different image of who you would call Angel, who is my spirit guide, who has represented herself as an angel. She says, well, this is who I am. She said that I was involved in this really high level experience that not many souls or spirits or entities, I don't remember exactly what she said, very few get an opportunity to come and go through this experience or experiences. Apparently I've done it many times. And she said that, you're one of the chosen that gets to do this. But at this point in your journey, as you're aging and things like that, and she said, you need to age, it's just part of the process. I'm like, well, that's a bummer. Well, and I was thinking that, I didn't say that, right? She said that, sometimes you need to be retuned, re-energized, repaired, if you will, so that you can continue on the idea of the journey or whatever it is you're here to do. And some of the details are a little fuzzy, but she said that what I needed to do was to go down the stairs underneath in the chamber below this altar, if you will, and have a session. I'm like, okay. So I went down, and there in the center of this chamber was like a stone bed. It didn't look comfortable at all. But she directed me to lay on it and let myself go, so to speak. And I remember thinking that the bed was going to be hard and uncomfortable, but I didn't even notice it. As soon as I laid there, my physical hands here in this place, as I was laying in meditation, began to completely almost get too hot, because I had put my hands on some other emeralds that were to my left and to my right as part of the connection. It started vibrating and humming and pulsating, and it was like it was like my mind was in a fury of a lightning storm, if I could describe it. The only thing at one point during the session that was actually in contact with the bed was my hands. I had come kind of like levitated off of the bed. I guess it's a bed. I finally kind of got the message that it was time to end the session. And so I kind of came back around, if you will, and found myself laying back on the bed. And I came back out, and now I had some more conversation with her about it. She says, now that you are tuned up, you can get busy back on what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And of course, she wouldn't give me the answers. She said, well, if I gave you the answers, it really wouldn't be the experience you came here to have. I'm like, okay, I get it. And she says, she said, though, that we've always been together, apparently, this quantum lady, Angel, as I know her in another form, in other forms as well. She said, you are the parts that I don't have, and I'm the parts that you don't have. So together, we've always been, we'll always be, because we need each other. She said, so I'm always there, I'll always be there as you go through this. You don't need to be worried about anything. And with that, she sent me on my way. And I walked back through the door with just automatically the stone turned back into an opening. I walked out onto the path, back through that interesting storm cloud, if you will, and then found myself back here, which of course I never left. And so there's a lot of symbology there, right? There is a lot of symbology, which I'll have to go back and research and meditate on a little bit more. But I found that really, really interesting that I'm being given the representation of something that really helps me pay attention. I'm a man. A gorgeous woman definitely grabs my attention, right? And the fact that, I do Reiki, I'm a Reiki master, I'm very connected with chakras and understand them and work with them well. And so this representation helped me understand that my balance is aligned through my chakras, and that these chakras were really part of the epicenter of this reality. This was my connection with this earth, they said. They said, that's what you guys call it. It's not really an earth, they said, but, for lack of a better word, that's what we'll call it. But that I need to reconnect through this reality, through this earth, and remember that I'm here to do something and to do more things. That's right. The other thing she said is that I am not living up to the potential that I could be living up to. That there's way more that I could be doing. She said, you've come a long ways. You've always known that you've had gifts and things that you could do that are different than others. She said, but you are not anywhere near where you could be. So you need to quit chasing all those doggone rabbits. Chase one for a while. What is it that you really want to experience, and let's go with it. And I remember telling her that, like most of us would like to have us. I'd love to have so much money that I don't have to worry about the worldly things of working and worrying about all that stuff, so that I can actually concentrate on my progression and then helping others to progress. And so I think that was one of the main things I walked away with, that I need to really decide. They can help me tune up, they can help me reconnect. I have a guide, a very good one, but I have to do the work. I have to make the decisions, I have to make the choices, I have to actually decide and recognize that I can do more. We can all do more. This is not just about me. I think this is a collective thing. We are way more capable of things and have the ability to become way more than most of us would ever dream of. But we're just afraid to ask. We're just afraid to step out. Funny things, we're all going to die one day. So why aren't we taking chances? Why aren't we doing things that we know we should be doing? Why not? We all have, in my opinion, very similar entities, guides on the other side, which I've talked about before a lot. I would encourage you guys to meditate, learn to meditate, connect however it is you connect, and find some answers, find some things. And I can tell you that this particular journey that I just explained, I'm going to get way more out of the symbolization, and I'm going to go back in and look at it, which is cool. Once you've had an experience, you can pop back in and re-look around and see what else there is. And I guarantee I'm going to have a whole lot more learning lessons out of this short meditation. I know it seemed like a long explanation, but it felt very short. We can all do that. We all should do that. And let's get busy becoming all we can be and all we should be. I would really look forward to hearing your thoughts on this. I'm not crazy. It's just, like I said, it's like having a dream. And dreams are not crazy. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this, what your thoughts and feelings are about it. And not a lot of people take me up on it, but reach out to me. On my website, you can find my contact information, lifebymazak.com, lifebymazak.com. Reach out to me. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. You will be hearing from me again. I hope to hear from you. Stay strong and live your life.